Hey folks, Matt Sharp here with another Pacific Angler Friday Fishing Report. I'm filming for April 3rd, so if it's nowhere near April 3rd, click up here. This is a link to all our Friday Fishing Reports, and we do it every week, so I've probably got something more up to date for you. This week, it looks like the government played an April Fool's joke on the salmon fishermen, closing down all rivers to salmon fishing, except for the Mamquam. We found that one. They missed that one. I'm going to have updates probably down in the links below on that because we have no clue why they've done that. I'll also go over how that's not a true problem, at least for the short term when it comes to our salmon fisheries. I've got a really cool fly for you guys that I'm saving till the middle of the report. Zach did one on how to blend thread for a chronomid. If you guys have seen those really neat chronomids that have a molted color look to them, the technique's actually really easy to do, and he's going to show you that in video format. We're going to talk through that in the middle of the report. I'm also going to talk about should you guys go fishing, because it looks as though we're going to get some colder weather coming into the weekend, but it will warm up next week, and I expect things to continue to be good. The reports we've heard are good. The caveat is, should you go? And I'm going to show you guys where you can check day to day where the links are from the BC government to give you those guidelines so you are fishing responsibly, and as well as the standard tips of not being like these guys and fishing in a big crowd, one that we should abide by at any given time if you want to be a successful angler. Guys, as always, you want to see more fishing reports like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button, hit that like button, and let's get into the report. All right, guys, thanks for joining me this week. Now, let's get the nitty-gritty, the bad news out of the way first. We already knew that they were going to close salmon fishing, and right now it is zero retention on Chinook. We knew that was coming. I'm going to leave links below so you guys know what's going on there. It is a new license year, and you can get a license still. I'm going to leave links as well to that down below, because if you are going out, you do need to get a new license, whether it's freshwater or saltwater. Now, the big question is, should you go fishing? And I wanted to leave some links just so you can tell when they change the regulations, because we're getting calls daily, and that's good. You guys should be checking. But I'm going to look first at the website, and it's pretty simple. You guys are going to want to Google search Fisheries Oceans COVID-19 update, and you can see here that it goes through all of the areas that they might have closed. There's a link in it to the areas that they might have closed, be it boat launches, be it public areas in parks that are closed right now. There are a few. That said, as I am filming this report, they still say that fishing is a good social distancing thing to do in the outdoors, so they don't have us shut yet. Keep an eye on that. It's something that's important. Obviously, we want to minimize any impact we can have with the sport we love on the crazy that's going on right now. Now, a couple of things that come along with that. We talked about it last week, but minimize your impact. Make sure you've got a lunch packed. Make sure you aren't hitting up the gas station if you don't have to. Minimize your time at said gas station. Don't go for coffees in the morning. And if you're going with a fishing buddy, do it in an immediate family, or if there are someone outside of your family you want to fish with, I still think that's cool, but take two cars, keep yourselves remotely separated. Just let's minimize this as much as we can, so when the government looks at fishing, they can't say, hey, this is a problem, we need to shut this down, which we've seen in other areas like these idiots and those idiots and these idiots as well. Just be smart, be safe, be smart, and hopefully we can continue fishing as much as possible. On the shop front, we're still open-ish. Now we have a really cool pickup thing. We are doing phone orders. You can call us in. I can even FaceTime you around the shop. We've been having a ton of fun doing these orders because we get to spend a little bit more time on the phone with you. So if you just want to talk about fishing, call us. I won't say we're bored. We're doing really well. You guys have been supporting us in ways that we can only say thank you for. But we have a little more time than normal. And so if you want to chat fishing, call it in. I'd love to talk about where you're heading out there, give you a hand where we can. Obviously, if you need tackle, let us know, pay with credit card. We'll get a roadside pickup or a post going out to you really quickly. And it's something that we've had a ton of fun doing with over the last little bit. So thanks to everyone for their support. Now, on the fishing side of things, should you go? Well, when we look at the weather, it looks pretty good. pretty good, being maybe not as good as last week where we got a little bit of rain and the rivers bumped up and things were moving in the right direction. But when I pull up, let's say Vancouver, we're looking at slightly colder temperatures Friday as you guys are watching this at 3 degrees, but it bumps back up to being warm, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is warm again as well. Throw that out to Squamish, somewhere where we're going to be doing a little bit more fishing, and you can see that it is negatives Friday and Saturday with even the possibility of some snow. Now, I'm not too worried because when we see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're rolling into nice 11-degree weather, still a little cold at night, so don't expect the river to be dirty or colored. Expect it to be clear. But with warmer temperatures pushing into the later season, we should see fry out in abundance, and that should key in the fish even though the water is relatively clear and relatively low. If you're heading out, you want to have Colorado blades in your kit if you're a float fisherman. Rubber worms on the small side, single eggs, gooey bobs, that kind of thing. As well as if you're a fly fisherman, your standard steelhead fare, because it is time to think about steelhead if you're heading up that way, but also fry patterns. Make sure you have fry patterns, and there's some really cool areas where you can get into. You can see bull trout and cutthroat and rainbows slashing the surface on the Squamish. And if you see that, what you want to do is swing or even fast strip. Usually what I'll do is I'll swing through an area, I'll medium strip through it, and then I'll fast strip through an area, see if I can elicit a bite. And when you're seeing those slurps on the surface fairly consistently, it's fairly easy to get a bite. And I recommend a shallow sink tip, something intermediate. We still want to get down a little bit because the Squamish is obviously faster moving than the Harrison. And then a relatively long leader for a sink tip. What I do is I do an arm length like that of your standard 8 or 10 pound test. And then I put about 2.5 feet of fluorocarbon on that, about 8 pound, 7 pounds, somewhere in there to hold the smaller fly, and you can have a ton of fun with the cutthroat and the bull trout. Now, when we roll it out to the Chilliwack is looking similar. We're going to see cold nights again, so 2, -1, 0 rolling into the weekend with you guys. Again, that's going to clear up the water, that's going to drop the water, any color that we got from last weekend. So expect pickier presentations, expect your bait presentations to be smaller and a little bit more precise. Throw Colorado blades even though it's clear conditions, because those fry should be flashing around down there and maybe elicit a bite from a steelhead for you. And it's definitely worth getting out. So the actual closure stuff that I wanted to talk about was one that I don't have an answer for you guys yet. And it was one that I saw, actually Jill over at Highwater gave me a call and said, what the hey is going on with this? And I was looking at the actual Can We Go Fishing because of the COVID problem page, but she brought it to my attention that on the entire Lower Mainland Region 2 listing, it says no salmon fishing right across the board. No fishing for salmon, no fishing for salmon, no fishing for salmon. Funnily, if you get down here, there's a funny one. They seem to have missed the Mamquam River. Oh no, no fishing for salmon. Never mind, that is updated as of now. Now, my thoughts on this without talking to anybody, I am going to be looking into more of this, and hopefully in the blog version of the fishing report, links always down below, I'll have more details on that. But my gut is that this was either a mistake or they know that they can open these as they go as the salmon actually become available in these different waters. At this point, there's nothing right now in these restrictions that have salmon for us to be concerned about, but it's one that we aren't going to slip under the rug if this is a closure that they've put into place. We're going to find out why. I'm going to keep you guys up to date on that, either in the blog version of the report if I have details, or next week we can have a chuckle over it if they've totally messed up or if it was an April Fool's joke that was not funny. Anyway, on to the fly front. So this one's a little bit more fun, a little bit sit back, relax, enjoy, think about fishing a little bit. And Zach did it, and it's one that is really cool, one that I paid attention to. You guys probably have seen either it on Instagram or Facebook or any of the social media worlds, some beautifully tied chronomids. Now, Zach is going to work over the next little bit to sort of master the very cool chronomids that you might be seeing. And the first step in mastering that is understanding blended thread. Now, it's something that's been done for a while, but there hasn't been too much in the how-to department when it comes to teaching you guys how to do this. And it's super simple. It's really easy, something you guys can do right now with the stuff you have at home. You just have the confidence to do it, and then a few mistakes that might be made, meaning using the wrong glues, using the wrong resins that sort of ruin the effect. Zach goes over how to blend thread with acrylonimid to get that cool molted look. So if you guys are planning to get out, hopefully for a lake trip in the near future, you'll definitely want to check that out. It's a good way to load up a box with a bunch of cool different colors, just taking matches out of your thread selection at home, and definitely one you want to check out. I'll leave links up here to that, as well as down in the description as well. All right, the last one is I got to talk about the saltwater fishing. For you guys that don't know, they have closed Chinook fishing. This is something we knew about almost a month ago. They were polite enough, I will say, or at least had the foresight to give us a heads up, and that did allow for a lot of the businesses behind the scenes to be able to make proper business decisions based on it, but it still doesn't suck any less. There's no reason for us to be closed. These are facts. The fish that we are hitting right now are not the stocks of concern, but we're hoping with better science, and the government is open to that better science, that we're going to be able to get a hatchery-only retention opportunity available. We're going to keep you guys updated. We're doing a bunch of genetic work. If you guys remember last week in a link, I showed Bon Chovy out there doing genetic work with Fishing with Rod. This is the kind of stuff that's going to give the data to the government so that they can make an educated decision and allow certain fisheries. But as it stands right now, we are closed, and we're going to be pushing really hard over the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks to at least push the needle in the right direction so the science is in front of the decision makers and they can do a proper job of this. Long story short, sorry guys, make sure your catch and release methods are good. Make sure those barbs are crunched. Make sure you're minimizing time for fish out of the water, and still get out there and enjoy it. There's still opportunities to be had. All right, guys, that's everything I've got for you this week. I hope everyone's staying safe. I hope everyone's staying sane, stuck inside. Maybe you can get out and do some fishing and relieve some of that stress. And as always, you want to see more reports like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Hit that like button, and we'll catch you in next week's Friday Fishing Report.